Welcome to Smart Coffee Sips. Go ahead and grab your favorite mug, because today we're diving into the world of the support engineer. We're going to break down what the role is, what they actually do all day, and yeah, we'll even talk about the money. Let's get right into it. You know that feeling, right? That moment of just pure panic when the tech you count on decides to quit on you? The website won't load, your app is frozen, and some weird error code is staring back at you? It's total chaos. Well, in that exact moment of crisis, a hero is about to step in.
And that hero, my friend, is the support engineer. They are the calm, steady voice when everything else feels like it's on fire. They're the ones who step onto the scene and turn that "oh no, everything is broken" panic into a real, solvable problem.
So what exactly is a support engineer? Well, think of them as the user's first real friend in the sometimes confusing world of tech. They're the technical wizard who calmly says, "Okay, let's figure this out," when everyone else is ready to throw their computer out the window. This isn't just your old-school help desk. These folks are absolutely critical first responders.
Okay, so what does a day on the front line for one of these tech heroes actually look like? What's their mission? Let's follow the journey of a typical SOS call to see how they work their magic.
So it all kicks off with what's called a ticket, which is basically an SOS signal. First, they get that distress call. Could be an email, a chat message, you name it. Then, they put on their detective hat to figure out what's really going on. For the easy stuff, they provide immediate first aid, a password reset or a quick fix. If it's a bigger, nastier problem, they escalate it to specialists, like the developers. And through it all, maybe their most important job is just keeping the user calm and in the loop.
And that brings us to what might be their most underrated superpower. A support engineer is a master translator. Seriously, they can take all that super technical jargon from the dev team and turn it into plain, simple English for the user. And then they do the reverse. They take a user's frustrated, vague complaint and translate it into a perfect, detailed bug report for the engineers. They're the bridge that makes it all work.
Now, to be this calm, problem-solving communication wizard, you need a pretty specific set of tools. It's a really interesting mix of hard technical skills and, well, just being a good human. So let's peek inside their toolkit.
First up, you've got to have a solid technical foundation. We're talking about knowing your way around operating systems, networks, and servers. But honestly, that's only half of it. You also need a huge amount of empathy and what I like to call golden patience for dealing with people who are having a bad day. You need that logical, detective mindset to crack the case. And for sure, you need to be stress-resistant to be that voice of calm. And finally, clear communication is everything. And in today's tech world, that often means having a good handle on English. A really powerful way to think about it is to compare them to an ER doctor, but for technology. When a patient, that's the user, comes in, the support engineer does the triage. They figure out how serious the problem is. They'll treat the minor stuff on the spot, the scrapes and bruises. But if it's a major trauma, like a huge server crash, they stabilize the patient and get them to a specialist, the developer surgeons, right away. Now, if the whole emergency room thing sounds a bit too intense, here's another way to look at it. You could also think of the support engineer as your friendly IT barista. A customer comes in with a problem, the barista listens carefully, figures out exactly what they need, and then serves up the perfect solution, making their day just a little bit better.
And hey, speaking of coffee, this seems like a perfect moment for a quick reminder of our motto here, Smart Coffee Sips. Quick talks lead to clear thoughts. Just a little sip of knowledge can go a long, long way.
All right, let's get down to the practical stuff. I mean, being a hero is great and all, but what are the actual rewards? And where can this whole adventure take you in your career? Let's talk about the money and the really exciting paths this role can open up.
So, taking a look at the numbers, you might notice that a junior support engineer might start a little lower than, say, a developer. But, and this is so important, this role is one of the best and most accessible ways to get your foot in the door of the tech industry, and as you can see, that salary grows pretty significantly as you gain experience, giving you a solid career while you learn the ropes.
And that experience is everything, because this job is not a dead end, it is a launch pad. You get to see how an entire product works from the inside out, which gives you this incredible, unique perspective. Think about it. If you spend your days figuring out why customers can't connect to a database, you are perfectly setting yourself up for a future in DevOps or as a system administrator. It's an amazing starting line. So, after all that, the chaos, the calm, the detective work, the career paths, one big question is left hanging in the air. Could this unique and frankly vital role
be the right one for you.
So, ask yourself this, honestly. Do you actually get a kick out of solving tricky technical puzzles? Are you good at explaining complicated stuff in a way that just makes sense to people? And maybe most important of all, when everyone else is freaking out, can you be that calm, reassuring voice that helps everyone find the way through the storm? Well, that's something only you can really figure out for yourself. I hope this little chat gave you some good stuff to think about. Thanks so much for joining me. Until our next coffee break, enjoy your cup of knowledge.